The phone vibrated against the kitchen counter, its buzz slicing through the hum of the refrigerator like a scalpel. I froze, my hand hovering over the cutting board, the knife glinting under the fluorescent light. My wife's name glowed on the screen, Clara. 30 minutes ago, I'd confessed to her over lunch, my voice trembling as I admitted I'd seen her car parked outside that dimly lit bar on 4th Street last night, when she'd claimed to be at a work conference. She'd laughed it off, her voice light as air, promising to explain everything when she got home. Now her text burned into my retina, "Working late. Don't wait up." My stomach churned, the half-chopped onion stinging my eyes. Or maybe it was something else. I set the knife down, the blade clattering softly against the wood. The kitchen felt too small, the walls pressing in, the air thick with the scent of garlic and doubt. Clara's words echoed in my skull, each syllable a pinprick. She'd been working late a lot lately, 3, maybe 4 nights a week. Her architectural firm was demanding, sure, but the timing felt off, like a metronome skipping a beat. I tried to shake it, to focus on the rhythm of our life together. 10 years of marriage, shared coffee mugs, her laugh crinkling the corners of her eyes. But that text, it was a crack in the frame of our perfect picture. I paced to the living room, the hardwood creaking under my socks. Her sketchbooks littered the coffee table, their pages spilling with blueprints and doodles of impossible buildings. Clara was an artist at heart, her mind always sketching something new. I used to love that about her. Now I wondered what else she was sketching in secret. I sank onto the couch, my fingers tracing the worn armrest, and pulled up her contact on my phone. My thumb hovered over the call button, but I couldn't press it. What would I say? Why are you lying? The question felt too heavy, too final. Instead, I opened my laptop, the screen's glow casting shadows across the room. Her firm's website loaded slowly, the sleek logo mocking me with its promise of innovative design, built on trust. I clicked through staff profiles, my pulse quickening. There was her photo. Clara smiling, her dark hair swept back, her eyes bright with ambition. I scrolled to the team page, scanning for names I'd heard her mention too often. Mark, her project lead, with his smug grin. Or maybe Sarah, the intern who always seemed to linger in Clara's stories. Nothing stood out, but the unease gnawed deeper, a termite in the foundation. The clock ticked past 8. I poured a glass of bourbon, the amber liquid catching the lamplight. The first sip burned, grounding me in its bitterness. I replayed our lunch conversation, dissecting her every word. "You're overthinking, David," she'd said, her fork twirling pasta, her smile too quick. I was at the bar with a client. Just networking. But her eyes had darted to her phone, and she'd excused herself to take a call, leaving me with the check and a knot in my chest. Networking. The word felt like a code I couldn't crack. I wandered to the bedroom, the bourbon warming my veins. Her side of the closet was a chaos of blouses and scarves, her scent, lavender and cedar, clinging to the air. I reached for her favorite jacket, the navy one she wore to meetings. My fingers brushed something crinkled in the pocket. A receipt. My heart stuttered as I unfolded it. The Rusty Anchor, 4th Street. 2 whiskeys, 1 martini. 10:47 p.m. Last night. She hadn't mentioned anyone else. I sank onto the bed, the paper trembling in my hand. The room spun, the shadows of the ceiling fan slicing through the dim light. I could have called her then, demanded answers, but my mind was a tangle of fear and denial. Maybe it was nothing. Maybe she'd met a colleague, forgotten to mention it. But the late nights, the vague excuses, the way her laugh felt rehearsed lately, they stacked like bricks, walling me in. I grabbed my keys, the jangle loud in the silent house, and drove to her office. The city blurred past, neon signs bleeding into the night, my grip tight on the wheel. Her firm's building loomed ahead, a glass monolith glowing against the skyline. The parking lot was nearly empty, save for a few cars scattered like forgotten toys. Hers wasn't there. My breath caught, sharp and cold. I circled twice, hoping I'd missed it, but the truth was a blade. She wasn't here. I parked and leaned back, the leather seat creaking, my mind racing. Where was she? Who was she with? The receipt burned in my pocket, a silent accusation. Back home, I poured another bourbon, the glass sweating in my hand. The house felt like a stranger's, every corner hiding something I didn't want to see. I checked her socials, scrolling through curated posts of her smiling at project unveilings. Her captions polished and vague. Nothing recent. Nothing real. My phone buzzed, a notification from our shared calendar. Clara, client dinner downtown. My jaw clenched. She hadn't mentioned a dinner. I opened my text, typing, "Where are you?" My thumb hesitated, then hit send. Minutes dragged like hours. No reply. I paced again, the bourbon sloshing in my glass. The living room clock mocked me, its ticks a countdown to something I couldn't name. Then headlights swept across the curtains. My heart lurched. The front door creaked open, and Clara's voice called out, soft but strained, "David, you still up?" She stood in the doorway, her hair slightly mussed, her navy jacket slung over her arm. Her smile faltered when she saw my face. "What's wrong?" she asked, setting her bag down. The air between us crackled, heavy with unspoken questions. "I know you weren't at the office," I said, my voice low, the words tasting like ash. Her eyes widened, just a flicker, but it was enough. "I drove by. Your car wasn't there." She laughed, a brittle sound. "David, I was at a client dinner. I told you work's been crazy." She stepped closer, her hand reaching for mine, but I pulled back. "Then why's your calendar say client dinner now, when you texted me about working late?" I held up the receipt, my hand shaking. "And this? From last night? Who were you with, Clara?" Her face drained of color, her lips parting as if to speak, but no words came. The silence was deafening, a void swallowing the room. Then her shoulders slumped, and she sank onto the couch, her eyes glistening. "It's not what you think," she whispered, but her voice cracked, betraying her. "Then tell me," I said, my voice breaking too. "Tell me what it is." She looked away, her fingers twisting the hem of her jacket. "It's Mark," she said finally, her voice barely audible. "We've been working closely. It started as late meetings, then drinks, then she trailed off, her eyes meeting mine, pleading. I didn't mean for it to happen, David. I love you. I just got lost." The words hit like a punch, stealing my breath. I wanted to scream, to shatter the glass in my hand, but I just stood there, frozen, as the world I knew crumbled. "Lost?" I echoed, my voice raw. "You chose this, Clara. Every step." She sobbed then, her face buried in her hands, but I felt no pity, only a hollow ache where love used to be. I turned away, the receipt fluttering to the floor, and walked out into the night, the city's pulse drowning out her cries. In the distance, a siren wailed, and I wondered if trust, once broken, could ever be rebuilt, or if I'd spend forever chasing its ghost.